Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I was asked a very interesting question. I want to do a video about it today. And that is, and especially it's a great question as we're talking about crushing it in real estate as this market cycle turns. There's a lot of people that want their dream house. There's a lot of people that want a lot of rentals. I'm one of them. And the question was, Ninja, what do you believe, in your opinion, is the greatest risk to owning real estate right now? All right. And so I want to answer that. And in a very in easy nutshell, it is the fact that people are not going to pay you rent. And I want people to get that through their minds. Not a lot of people understand this. We saw when the world shut down, the some governments came out and said, you don't have to pay your rent. You know what? This isn't your fault. We've had a lot of issues in the markets right now, and this isn't your fault. So let's just give you sort of a time off. On top of that, they told homeowners, hey, you can claim forbearance, which is something that's always been in loan docs, by the way. It's always been a stipulation. But hey, you know what? You can claim forbearance. And what I want people to understand is that was because of a controlled shutdown. What's coming next is, I believe, greater than the Great Depression, the Great Depression 2.0. And simply, I could say greater than the Great Depression because of the sheer amount of money that was created uh, in just the past few years, let alone since 2020, or sorry, the year 2000, right? Or right after the dot-com crash. And you cannot squeeze blood from a turnip. We've heard that before. And when everybody loses their jobs, and most people will lose their jobs, I want people to understand that because there's a ripple effect. It won't happen overnight, but because a certain group, like let's say an Amazon goes out of business and all these people get laid off, right? Well, now those are people that can't go down to the restaurant and eat at the restaurant. Now and you got restaurants closing, they're losing their jobs, and it's this ripple effect, right? And so many people are going to lose their jobs. The unemployment will explode higher, and people will not be able to pay you rent, especially in the last 2 years. 3 years, we've seen rent costs explode higher. And what people don't realize is in real estate, once a renter decides to not pay you rent, it's not like you can turn around and go, oh, I'll lower your rent. At a certain point, they check out. And a lot of people do. With that being said, there's a lot of people that have lost their jobs in the past and they need help. I've had tenants that have that happen, and I've drastically lowered rent just to help them out. And not only that, there's sometimes where I said, you know what, this month's on me. Like no joke. Like I know you're in a serious situation, and that's always come back to bless my family and my business, right? Because when you're sympathetic, you it comes back. Maybe not from that one person, but in life, it just comes back and works. The problem is, though, is at a certain point, people check out, especially in a world where a government can back you up and go, yeah, you don't got to pay rent. We have sympathy for you. Just vote for us so we can keep this cool free stuff going. And it's like the old saying, the dead mouse didn't understand why the cheese was free. Hey, this is a great deal. Look at all this cheese. I'm gonna, and just gets hit by the trap. And sorry for that illustration. Hopefully it didn't offend anyone. My dead mouse. Look, but the truth is that these are very scary times. So if you own real estate now, what can you do to protect yourself from that? Well, my thing is always have money in the bank to pay your mortgage, right? If tenants stop paying, but also start to really go through your tenants and start to screen them better. What kind of jobs are they in? Are they jobs that are necessities, jobs that you're not going to lose? Are you are you are you being good with your tenants? As far as, I'll give you an example. There's people that are just in it for so much profit. They just raise rents, raise rents, and they're not looking at the humanity side of it. Um, if you squeeze another 100 or $200 out of somebody, are you really killing it? Are you really? Or what's better? Because every time you squeeze someone, if they leave and now your place is vacant for 30 days or 60 days, that $200 spanned over that amount of rent just lost, it wasn't worth it, right? Are you in a position where you could lower rents? As you're starting to see issues happening, are you talking with your tenants? Are you asking them questions like, how are things going? How's your job? Um, Start to see the trouble signs ahead, lower their rent. Uh, it comes back to you, right? And so that would be I want to buy in a crash when I'm buying from the banks. I'm buying the real estate from the banks. There's no emotion involved. Um, You've already let the people that have lost the house, they made either a bad decision or they got themselves into a position where they're over leveraged, and even with losing their job, they couldn't pay the payments. And I'll give you an example too, just so you know. In 2010, you got a lot of these people, prepper channels and stuff like that, talking all the time. I was talking with another YouTuber that has a prepping channel, and I said, look, I want you to understand something. In 2010, I had 6 months worth of food set aside. I had 6 months worth of bills set aside. I actually had that in 2008. Because I always knew that something could happen, right? By 2014, 2015, I had 10 years of all of my expenses in the bank. 10 years. I could lose my job, be fired, and be able to sustain my lifestyle for 10 years. All right. And that came from very hard work, watching all of my friends going on vacations that they shouldn't have because they couldn't own it. They couldn't pay for it. And then watching them claim bankruptcy later. I've watched a lot of people, and I've left those friends because they're different, right? I want to go out and crush it. I want to go help people. I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to take advantage of the problem. All right? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So if you have that kind of personality, you want to help people and you're going to take advantage of stressful situations because you were ready, you were prepared, not scared, we can be friends. Because that's what's going to turn this world around. Not being a follower, being a contrarian, and preparing for these things. So that's that. I wanted to share that with you. That's my greatest fear of owning real estate right now is your tenants being told by a government, a tyrannical government, quite frankly, that they don't have to pay rent. But oh, don't worry, you don't have to pay your mortgage either. I'm like, oh, are you gonna destroy my credit? Oh yeah, we're gonna destroy your credit in the meantime. But you don't got to pay your mortgage. Weird. It's almost like this whole thing was planned. So I hope this answers something because a lot of people are, wanting to jump in right now. They're afraid that their fear of missing out, their FOMO is as high, and you've got to be patient because there's going to be a lot of opportunities, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. This is a multi-year event. Even if you start, and you're seeing it right now, all over the news headlines on these cell phones, you're seeing real estate crashing. This is it. Real estate stopped. What's next? But it still takes years for it to trickle through to the banks and get the foreclosures done and then start taking advantage of those, which is really exciting. And why? Because that means you have a couple of years more to prepare. All right, guys, I hope you get something out of this. I thank you again for watching, and I thank you to everybody that's hitting the subscribe button and hitting the thumbs up button. And for sure, I'm thanking all of you that have been taking these videos and sharing them on any and all social media platforms you can, because we want to take a bunch of people with us, right? You reap what you sow. Remember that. So if you're sowing education, knowledge, love, then you're going to reap all of that back tenfold. All right, guys, that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.